The Secret History of the CIA by Joseph Trento is an investigative book that provides an in-depth look at the history of the Central Intelligence Agency from its inception in 1947 to the early 2000s. The author draws on a wide range of primary sources, including declassified government documents and interviews with former CIA officials, to explore the agency's covert actions, failures, and scandals. This article will provide an overview of the book and 5 key takeaways from it. Overview: Trento's book is divided into 3 parts, each of which covers a different period in the CIA's history. The first part, titled The Good Old Boys, examines the early years of the agency, from its creation in 1947 to the 1960s. This section covers the agency's involvement in numerous covert operations, including the overthrow of governments in Iran and Guatemala, as well as the Cuban Missile Crisis. The second part, The Company's Dark Ages, covers the period from the 1970s to the end of the Cold War. During this time, the CIA faced numerous setbacks and scandals, including the failed Bay of Pigs invasion, Watergate, and the Iran-Contra affair. The final part of the book, The Post-Cold War CIA, covers the period from the end of the Cold War to the early 2000s. This section covers the agency's response to new threats, including terrorism, and the challenges it faced in adapting to a changing geopolitical landscape. Key takeaways: 1. The CIA's early history was marked by political interference. The book reveals that during the early years of the agency, political interference was rampant. Politicians, including Presidents Harry S. Truman and Dwight D. Eisenhower, often shaped the CIA's covert actions according to their political interests. This led to a series of disastrous covert actions, including the overthrow of democratically elected governments in Iran and Guatemala. 2. The CIA's role in the Cold War was both successful and traumatic. The book shows that the CIA played a key role in the outcome of the Cold War, but at a high cost. The agency's involvement in the Cuban Missile Crisis prevented a nuclear war but also led to severe trauma and burnout among the agency's operatives. 3. The CIA's record of intelligence failures is significant. The book sheds light on the numerous intelligence failures of the agency, including the failure to predict the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, the failure to identify the threat of Al-Qaeda before the 9/11 attacks, and the failure to predict the collapse of the Soviet Union. 4th, the CIA's involvement in illegal activities tarnished its reputation. The book covers the various scandals that occurred during the agency's history, including Watergate, the Iran-Contra affair, and the use of torture. The author argues that the systematic violation of human rights and the CIA's involvement in such illegal activities have severely damaged its legitimacy. 5. The CIA's struggle to adapt to changing global threats. The book highlights the struggles that the agency faced in adapting to changing threats after the Cold War. The agency struggled to develop intelligence to combat the new threat of terrorism, and this led to a series of intelligence failures, including the attack of 9/11. Conclusion: The Secret History of the CIA is an important book that gives an in-depth look at the agency's history, successes, and failures. The book shows the consequences of political interference and highlights the dangerous consequences of the CIA's involvement in covert actions. The book also shows the importance of intelligence gathering and the significant challenges faced by intelligence agencies in the 21st century to effectively capture and analyze intelligence in order to anticipate emerging threats. Finally, this book reveals that transparency and accountability are vital and lacking issues for the CIA, which suffers from a crisis of legitimacy due to a series of scandals and illegal activities.